Okay, so now we're going to make an internal block diagram. So what we'll do is click on APFT calculator because we wanted to have, this is our high-level block of our APFT calculator, but now we want to create a more specific internal block diagram. So click there, click create diagram, click internal block diagram, and we will input our three main subblocks: list, user interface, and data tables. So we see they automatically populate. We'll just put our user interface right here. We'll put our lists below, and we'll push our data tables over here. Let's put this here. Okay, so now we want to just define the connection and the flow of information between each of these elements of our system. So first we want to have what's coming out of the system, or what's coming from outside of the system in. So you click on flow port, make it so the outline turns blue, click on it, and that will attach a port to the border between the external and the internal, which is the system. Notice internal block diagram, APFT calculator. So now we want to connect this to our user interface, highlight it over, make sure it turns blue, click on it. We'll click on new flow port. So we have P1 from the outside of the system coming into P2, which is our user interface, and we want to define some information that's being passed and forth. So first one, we're going to from P1 to P1, and we're going to click on information, conveyed information, and we want to have our raw input in. We don't have raw input here, so we'll just go to creation mode, click on data, and we need to create a new block. We'll just call this raw inputs. Close, select it, click OK, and OK. So we see raw inputs are coming from outside of the system into our user interface. We want to create another one, what's coming out of the user interface back. So we'll just select the other one. We want to have our APFT score here. So we'll click on creation mode again because we don't have our APFT score as a block. Click on data, click on create, block. We'll say APFT score. Select APFT score, click OK, and notice we have the raw inputs coming in and our APFT score going out. And let's just move port 1 and port 1 out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing from our user interface to our data table. So we're going to send raw data, raw input to our data tables. They're going to return back APFT scores. And we could do the same steps. So we'll create a flow port. Notice this is named P2 because this is the second port on the user interface. Connect it to data tables, new port in. We'll click here and we're going to say, we'll just say, raw inputs are going from the user interface to our data tables, and then we will switch it and we'll say APFT scores are coming back. Port 2, and notice it's it's a double arrow because information is going in and going out. Now the final one we'll create is our lists, and lists are going to be just going into our user interface. Let's drag this over here, clean this up a little bit. Okay, and now we want to make sure this is going just in because there's not information coming back to the list. The list is just populating the user interface. So we right click here, click on specification, direction in out. We're just going to say out. Right click here, specification, direction in, and then we will say info and our lists are just going to populate. We're just sending our lists from our lists. Okay, so this is a very basic internal block diagram where we can see our raw inputs are coming in to our user interface, lists are coming into our inner interface, our raw inputs are going into our data tables, back out, we're getting our APFT score, and then to the user is getting our APFT score. So this is the basic tutorial on how to create an internal block diagram.